What's the worst experience you've had with a roommate? About 15 years ago, I was working at a rundown timeshare call center. The kind of place where half the staff was high most of the time, turnover was constant, and the atmosphere was more like a dive bar than an office. My boss and I weren't boss and employee in the traditional sense. We were more like coworkers who just happened to have him in the supervisor role. We hung out outside of work, shared drinks, swapped stories. He was one of those guys everyone liked, sharp, funny, carried himself with confidence. Also, he was a big guy, around 350 pounds, which, as it turned out, mattered later. One day, he told me he'd lost his apartment. It wasn't some dramatic story, just the accumulation of bad luck, bad choices, and bills he couldn't keep up with. He asked if he could crash at my place for a couple of months while he got back on his feet. I said yes without thinking much about it. My second apartment was a revolving door party spot anyway. People were constantly coming and going, sleeping on the couch for a night or two, bringing drinks, bringing trouble. One more person didn't seem like a big deal. The first month was fine. He paid a little toward rent, pitched in for groceries when he could, and mostly kept to himself. Then one night, he sat me down and told me he was done with opioids. He'd been taking 20 10 millibars hydrocodone pills a day for years and had finally decided enough was enough. My first thought was to get him into rehab, but he waved me off. He said he wanted to do it on his own. That meant cold turkey, no tapering, no medication, no doctor, just him, a blanket, and the couch in my living room. Withdrawal hit fast and hard. Within a day, he was curled up under the blanket, shaking, sweating, barely moving except to drink water or drag himself to the bathroom. He stopped going to work. He stopped eating much. He slept most of the day and stayed up most of the night, groaning quietly or just staring at the ceiling. The sweating was relentless. He was a big guy, and even on a normal day, he had to take extra steps to keep his body odor under control. But now, in the middle of detox, it was on another level. The heat of his body mixed with the fabric of that old couch, and the smell began to fill the apartment. It wasn't just sweat. It was sour, heavy, almost sticky in the air. It clung to clothes, seeped into the carpet, and made the air feel thick. Within a week, the party house vibe was gone. People stopped dropping by. Friends would make excuses to leave quickly. Even with my bedroom door shut at the far end of the hall, I could still smell it. I'd light candles, run fans, open the windows, even in the middle of winter, but nothing helped for long. It wasn't his fault. He was doing something incredibly difficult, and I respected that. But the apartment felt like it was slowly sinking under the weight of the air. After about 3 weeks, he started to come out of it. The shaking lessened, he got up more, even managed a few short walks outside. A couple of weeks later, he was gone, found a new apartment, lined up a new job, started getting his life back together. I was relieved for him, but also relieved for the air in my apartment. My actual roommate and I didn't even try to save the couch. We carried it straight out to the dumpster in the parking lot, each of us holding it like we were afraid it might melt in our hands. Even without it, the smell lingered. We left the windows open for days, sprayed every surface with cleaner, and eventually brought in a thermal fogger with an oil-based cherry counteractant. It worked on every other smell we'd ever had in that place, but this one barely budged. For a while after he moved out, we kept in touch on Facebook. He got a job as a realtor, lost a significant amount of weight, had a baby girl. He found religion, posted about faith and gratitude. It seemed like he'd finally managed to get to a stable, happy place. Then I deactivated Facebook for a few years, fell out of touch with a lot of people. One day, my old roommate from that apartment called me out of nowhere. He told me our old friend had relapsed. This time it wasn't pills. It was heroin. And this time, he didn't make it through. I didn't know what to say. All I could think about was him on that couch in my living room, wrapped in a blanket, sweating and shaking, trying to climb his way out of the hole. For a little while, he had